Hey guys, Rip the Rage here. Hope you're having a I can't even say that. I can't. I can't. This video is too serious. I can't say that. I hope you're not having a fantastic day. I hope you're having an awful day. I hope that you keep thinking about the Parkland shooting over and over and over again, because that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about it because we need to talk about it. Now, some people say, oh, it's not time to talk about it. No, every time it's time to talk about it. Okay? The families can grieve, the community can grieve. I'm not from Parkland, but I am from Florida. I am from this state. This is my home. Okay? This is the second time this has happened in my backyard for no reason. There's no reason this should have happened. None. We had the Orlando shooting, which was a guy that was literally on a terror watch list. We had a guy being investigated by the FBI for possible terrorist ideologies, and he still legally obtained an AR-15 and shot a bunch of people. This last time, this kid right here, in the Parkland shooting, whatever the fuck his name is, I don't remember. I think it's Cruz or something, whatever. He legally obtained an AR-15, even though he had mental health issues, and the FBI was looking into him for those mental health issues. This man went on social media, covered his face like a terrorist would, and waved around firearms like a terrorist would. And yet, we didn't immediately send somebody to his door and be like, hey, can you come with us? Can we check your mental state real quick? Can we see if you are, competent to be owning these firearms? Oh, and there's been, videos surfaced of him shooting in his backyard, which is by law illegal. You can't do that in a residential area as such that he was in, right? This is just wrong. Why did this happen? Why? All right, but enough emotion. All right, we can be angry and sad and whatever all day long. It won't change anything. But let's talk about the other people at fault here who are allowing this to happen. Now, hear me out on this. I am not against people's constitutional rights. Let me state this right now, okay? I am not against any of your constitutional rights. I am not against the first, the second, the third, the fourth, the whatever. Those are your rights. They're laid out in the Constitution, and there it is. But a few things you need to know about those rights, okay? And we'll get on to that later. But there's a couple of things in those rights that even the founders found fault in. Even the founders of our country knew that our country would never be perfect. It would never happen. We'd never make a perfect society. We just made one a little bit better than a monarchy, okay? But we'll get on to that later. But first off, I just wanted to say I'm not against anybody's rights, okay? Your right is your right, okay? Fine. So let's start here. I got a list of 5 things that keep getting brought up in the gun debate. It's not even a debate. It's just a bunch of... I'm going to try and refrain from name calling here because that doesn't help the situation. But, okay. It annoys me because it's not really a debate. It is just a bunch of people trying to make sensible gun laws and a bunch of people trying, for some reason, not seeing the reasoning in it. But let's start off with number 1. Let's start off with number 1. This is one that gets thrown around a lot, all right? And this is one that, kind of seems to make sense on the surface, but if you pick it apart, it makes no sense at all. Criminals don't obey laws. So people are saying, hey, if we pass stricter gun laws, then the criminals are just going to get the guns anyway. How many Jose's on the block do you know that are selling AR-15s? How many normal, MS-13 or Crips or Bloods or whatever gangbangers are walking around with military-grade body armor? Why the hell do gangs in, I don't know, Chicago or something, just to throw out a random city name, I don't know, or New York, whatever, if there's a gang in a city, why aren't they packing RPGs so when the cops show up, just blow them up? Why not? You said they don't... This argument is that criminals don't obey laws anyway. So why are they stopping at normal operations? Why are they running drugs and making money and doing this and doing that? Why are they doing that normal gang activity and not escalating to paramilitary style shit? Why? Why? What would stop them? You said the laws don't stop them. Then what's stopping them? What's stopping them is escalation. Okay? What's stopping them is knowing that if they start acting out even worse, the feds are going to crack down on them. That people will rise up against them and tell them no. Okay? They control a little bit of power, and that's how criminals get away with shit. That's how gangbangers do it. That's how all of these evil groups throughout history have done it. When you go too far, you make enemies. Okay, that's how it works. But criminals know obeying guns. Okay, let's run this scenario here. They don't obey laws, right? Okay, so somebody jaywalks. Congratulations, they're now a criminal. Jaywalking's illegal. That makes them a criminal. Therefore, they didn't obey the law, and they went across the street, and somebody, dies. Right? Do we stop making laws on jaywalking? Do we just say fuck it and take the laws away? I mean, you just said criminals don't stop. The person didn't stop anyway. They just went ahead with it. They went ahead and jaywalked right into traffic, and somebody crashed and died because of it. They hurt people. So why bother with that law? Why bother with any law? Because the law is not for the most hardcore, fundamentalist fucking would-be shooters. It's not what the law is there for. The law is there for the common criminals. The guys that don't go the extra mile. It's there to inconvenience them. It's there to make them think twice about what they're doing. Okay? Because it makes it a little tiny bit harder for them. So maybe something flicks in their head and says, you know what, I ain't got time for this. I'm going to go do something else. Right? Imagine, if you will, a world in which you can't just walk into a gun shop, fill out a couple of papers, and get an AR-15. Imagine a world like that. Where would you go? Do you know somebody who sells illegal weapons and who would have the hookup for a military-grade weapon? I don't. I doubt any normal, common gangbangers would. Because running a military-grade weapons deal is a lot different than running a handgun, okay, that's had the serial number filed off. That's a little bit different. Because it would be a little bit harder to get your hands on something like that. And if you did, then it would be a federal crime then. Now you're getting into really, really obnoxious shit. We're talking about if they find out you're running AR-15s, they're going to not only bust up your operation, but go after all of your acquaintances as well. So you've brought heat down on yourself. There's a reason criminals don't just steal a Porsche one day and sell it the next. Because it's preventative. They wait for the heat to die down. They don't want attention. Okay? That's the stupid argument. Oh, they don't obey laws. Then why do you write laws for anything? It's not for the common criminal. It's not for 100% of mass shooters. It's for 90% of mass shooters. It's for the ones that find an easy way to do it and then do it. It's for stopping those guys. Okay? Okay. Number one, done. Okay. Number two, self-defense. Okay. I have nothing against this argument at all. This is a sensible argument. If you want to say, I own a 9mm or a 45 or, a 12 gauge or a 22 caliber rifle, I own some form or fashion of firearm, right? I own some weapon to defend myself and my family with, right? So if somebody breaks into my house or if somebody tries to mug me or something, I'm carrying that weapon. I've got no problem with that at all. That's a very sensible argument, and anybody who's against that argument or who's in favor of full gun control, get the fuck out, because you're not being adult about the situation. If you want to defend yourself and your family, fine. You want handguns, you want shotguns, you want rifles, everything short of military-grade weapons, you can have. I don't care. But when you have something that's military-grade, that is designed for war, and to end life as efficiently as the AR-15 does, then what are you doing? Why? Why do you need that? That's not for defense. That's not for defense at all. That's stupid. Now, can you say, hey, it's fun to shoot? Sure. It's fun. Yeah, it's fine. You want to fire that weapon? Keep it on a gun range. How about that? How about we regulate to say, okay, you can own an AR-15, but it has to be locked up in a locker at a gun range if you go there frequently. Okay, not hard. There's plenty. I mean, there's for instance, one of my favorite YouTubers, and he's a very sensible man most of the time. His name is Angry Joe, and even he doesn't own these weapons. He owns like a TAC-12 shotgun, but he doesn't try to own like military grade firearms. He doesn't try to own like AR-15s and vectors and shit, because he knows that they need to stay on the range. They're fun to shoot, but completely impractical for defense. Okay? Okay. Allow me to show you something that is practical for defense. Before you go thinking, oh, this is just another liberal gun-hating, whatever, whatever names you're going to come up with for this, for people like me. Here's the thing. You think I'm that. You're thinking I'm some kind of liberal that doesn't understand guns, doesn't like guns. This is a .22 caliber rifle. This pouch holds the ammunition for it. This weapon can hold 10 rounds. This is for home defense. This is a weapon I have had for a fair bit of time. Before I was of legal age to own this weapon, I was keeping it with my grandfather. It was his .22 caliber rifle, technically speaking. But I was in the group of kids. My grandfather had a big old case of guns. He had one of those big wall-mounted gun things. And out of the grandkids, right, my brothers went to the shotguns and the 308s and the this rifle and the that thing. No. I like the .22. Why do I like the .22? Because it's reliable. It's not high maintenance. It's very simple. Very simple weapon. I shoot, it hits. Doesn't make a big hole. Doesn't make a big bang. Doesn't do any of that. But it does what it needs to do, which is to kill someone if necessary. And that's another thing that I was taught that people seem to not understand is like, oh, you can't be against guns and yada yada. You don't know anything about gun safety. My gun safety was from my grandfather, and he taught us, you do not point a weapon at anything you're not gonna kill. Not shoot, he said kill. He made it clear that if you're gonna point a gun at someone, you shoot to kill. Because at that point, he taught us that at that point, the situation has escalated to the necessity of ending a life. But he also taught us that it shouldn't get that far to begin with. You should attempt to de-escalate the situation and to subdue the perpetrator without using lethal means, right? If you can end it non-violently, end it non-violently. That's what he taught us, right? Now, my grandfather wasn't a pushover. He was in the Coast Guard, right? But at the same time, he understood that, yeah, not everything needs to be somebody gets shot and killed. But there you go. I own a weapon. It sits 1 foot away from me at all times. Not because I'm paranoid, not because I think somebody's going to break into my house, not because I'm scared. That's never happened. I'm not afraid of that. If that weapon wasn't there, I'd grab the fucking bronze globe thing that's sitting on my shelf right here and beat somebody's ass with it. I would pick up a chair and break it across the dude's back, then use the splintered wood to stab him in the head. That is how you're supposed to respond to something. Why? Because the gun is not supposed to make you feel safe. The gun's not supposed to... Does it give you an edge in combat? Yes, absolutely gives you an edge. Okay? But the gun shouldn't be your fallback position. The gun shouldn't make you feel safe. You should make you feel safe. You should be resolved in the idea that even if you die doing what's right, and you die defending your family and your home and yourself. Okay? That's the thing. Alright. So moving on from self-defense, right? Like I said, no problem with that argument at all. That's all you. You can have your handguns, your hunting rifles, and your shotguns. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care if you want a freaking, I don't know, a SPOS 12 even. I don't fucking care. It's a shotgun. Whatever. It's hard to bring a shotgun into a mass shooting, and especially considering that basically every shotgun can only hold a couple of rounds, and that shit's got some serious kick. But here's the thing. I got no problem with that argument. Moving on to the next one. Number 3, gun ownership is in the Constitution. So for those of you that may be viewing this video from outside of the US and aren't familiar with my country's Constitution, or anybody who needs a refresher on this, allow me to outline it. In exact word for word what the Constitution says, a well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. Alright, so this is all one thing. This is all contained to one sentence. There's a lot of commas on there, right? So, but breaking it up into different sections. But let's take it step by step. So first part, well-regulated militia. Well, that doesn't play a part in this at all, right? Your Second Amendment, when talking about the Second Amendment in a legal sense or in a debate over it, right? A debate over constitutional rights or anything, the Supreme Court's already put this one to bed. They did it in 2010, I believe, or it was either 2010 or 2008. I think it was a 2010 case where a man brought forth and said, hey, when we're talking about Second Amendment, are we talking about the well-regulated part or the gun part? And the Supreme Court put it to bed. I think it was like almost a unanimous vote that said, no, we're not talking about well-regulated militia because that's an obsolete term. We're talking about gun ownership, right? And the reason they said well-regulated militia was an obsolete term is because back in the day, the militia was the military. The founders didn't want a standing military. They wanted militias from each state, but that was impractical. We eventually had to move to having a whole military, right? And so once we got to that point, now the military is the well-regulated militia. They are the ones defending our freedoms and shit, and they're the ones keeping the invaders out. That was the point of the well-regulated militia. The well-regulated militia was there to stop Britain and France and all that from coming back in and taking us back over. That was the point of that, right? And so, and especially it says being necessary to the security of a free state. Last time I checked, none of the states are in danger of being invaded by fucking Poland or Russia, okay? They're not just going to start randomly jumping in on fucking South Carolina with some Chinese paratroopers, all right? It's not going to happen. All right. But that right, like I said, I don't have a problem with your rights at all. I don't have a problem with self-defense. You want to own a handgun, a shotgun, a hunting rifle, I'm all for it. You can have 20 bajillion of them. I don't care. I do not care. I only care about the type of weapon you have, not the weapon itself. Okay? So, you want 20 fucking, I don't know, what's a really good tactical gun that's been up lately? I don't know, some super tactical handgun with a laser sight, a little sight, and an extended mag and all this, and you want to feel all like a Spec Ops soldier. Fine. You want 20 of those? Fine. Go for it. That's your right. Have fun with that one. Right? And I'm not going to try and tell you not to do that. I'm just saying there's certain ones you should stop at. There are certain things that just become unnecessary. The AR-15 is an example of this. Military-grade machine guns are unnecessary. Assault rifles are unnecessary for your defense or your right. Now, this rolls into the next thing. So you're going to ask yourself, well, why did they put it in the Constitution at all, right? What was the point? It rolls into number 4, which is protection from tyranny, right? That's another argument. People are like, I need my guns to stop the government from imposing martial law and oppressing us. Fair enough. You don't want a police state. It's a fair enough argument. One problem with that. You could have that argument in the 1930s. You could have that argument 1930s and backwards. You can't have that argument 1940s and onwards. Because there's this little thing that's been introduced that's called the military-industrial complex. These people, as it stands currently, motherfuckers toppled a not even a terrorist, a dictator that was basically almost Middle East Hitler. Not as smart as Hitler, mind you, but, he was basically there, right? He was trying to be an evil dictator. He had tanks and rocket launchers, anti-aircraft guns. He had a standing fucking military, and the U.S. Army went in there, or the U.S. military, I should say, including the Navy and the Air Force and everything. The U.S. military went in and took over that region in about a week. We gave him a run for his money for like a week. He didn't know what to do. He had tanks. Like Osama bin Laden and fucking, what is his name? I always forget the other one. Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein is the one I'm referring to, obviously. Saddam Hussein, motherfucker, had an army with tanks, chemical weapons, rocket launchers, and anti-aircraft. And he had jets. He had fucking fighter planes, too. And you're telling me you think that you, and a couple of good old boys with AR-15s would stop them. You don't have rockets. You don't have tanks. You don't have armored personnel carriers. You don't have anti-aircraft. So you know what's going to happen? Oh, it seems that we have a problem over here in Sector 12, formerly known as Orlando, Florida. People are rioting, burning things. What should we do? All right, let's see here. And the drone's been sent. ETA 2 minutes, scorched earth, nothing less. They will burn you out. There are things that can kill you from the sky. You can't fight that, right? You can't fight that. It's not possible. You can't fight the U.S. government at this point. Now, here's the thing. It might be possible if you could get every single person to not want to be oppressed. Here's the thing. Is if you all stood up and said, I would rather die, kill me now because I would rather die than be under your rule, right? Only problem is not everybody's going to do that. So they're going to be left with somebody who's going to be a cooperator. It happens every time in these regions. Every time when some sort of dictatorship takes over, people will choose life, the life of themselves and their family, over death. Don't know why. I don't know why. Me? I'd walk out in the street with a sign if I had to, and then let them shoot me dead. I don't care. Okay? I don't care. I would rather die for my freedoms than that. And, you know, this argument of, oh, I need the AR-15, we need assault rifles so we can stand up to the U.S. government. If they brought the military down on you, you wouldn't be able to do dick and you know it. Okay? Let's just stop with that. Stop pretending that it's for that. Let's not kid ourselves here. The local police, maybe you'll give them a chance, because they're using the same shit as you. But, I mean, come on, guys. Come on. I mean, if you notice, the guys at Standing Rock and all the protests, they don't carry weapons, and yet they protest just fine. Maybe because that's another right of theirs, and they're exercising it peaceably, and they're not afraid to get hurt, so they go out en masse? Just saying, I don't know. But another thing with the protection from tyranny thing is they'll say, oh, I need this to defend against the government. Why do you need that to begin with? Why are you going to be afraid of your government? Who are you electing into office that is going to authorize this shit? Are you electing Hitler? Because I'm not the one electing Hitler here. I'm not the one voting for the bad guy. You know, I'm not the one, like, going to this and being like, who do I go with? The altruistic, you know, freedom guy, or Hitler, who said he wants to kill a bunch of people. Tough call. Seriously, who the fuck are you voting into office? Oh, wait, I know who you're voting in office. Donald fucking Trump and his stupidity. And his insanity. And people are going to make this a political thing. Oh, the left, the right, the whatever. It doesn't matter what side you're on. If you elect somebody who's a jackass, you elected somebody who's a jackass. You need to know their policies and what they voted on and who's funding them. That's what you need to know before you vote for someone. Okay? Okay. I'm not saying one way or the other, Hillary, Trump, whatever, they both fucking suck. Okay? I'm not playing the establishment fucking bipartisan game, alright? I'm not doing it. But the thing is, you need to think about who the fuck you're electing in the first place that's gonna try and institute a police state. Because it seems to me you might not want to elect that person. I mean, I think America might be a little far gone on this one because we actually have a guy in Illinois who's the front runner for the GOP, who is an actual literal Nazi. He is the former head of the Nazi Party of America. I'm not kidding. Look this up. This man from Illinois, he's running for Illinois Senate, I believe. And he's an actual fucking Nazi. What? I don't know. Anyway, off of that. So the protection of tyranny and all that, right? All right. So my fifth point is going to go back to the first one with the whole criminals don't obey gun laws thing, where people say, oh, they'll just find another way to get the gun. Let them! Like I said earlier. Oh, you have fucking, you have Jose on the block running AR-15s now. Is that what's happening? Is he going to run all the military-grade shit? Is that's what's happening? I don't know somebody with the hookup. I mean, I could probably go out and find some crack. I could probably go to, like, a seedy part of town and look for a dealer on a corner there. But it's kind of hard to keep a low profile enough to sell military-grade weapons to somebody, let alone sell them to enough people, you know? And, like, who the fuck's going to come up there and be like, Okay, dude, I need this gun. Why? I wanna go kill a bunch of people in a mass shooting. Or the more realistic, the guy doesn't ask why. Well, then it turns out, okay, well, this AR-15 had the serial number filed off. Well, this guy met with this guy, met with this guy, and he was in this area where this known gangbanger is, who's been known to run weapons. Let's go let's go break his house down and see if we can find something. Oh, look, we found his guns. He's going to jail. That's going to bring heat down on him. Just like I said before, it's going to bring heat down on people. So the whole they'll find another way thing, yeah, okay, maybe they will. But again, you're talking about a fraction, a teeny tiny bit of the people that did before, even if they do go that route. Even if they somehow get all the way to that point, right? And last thing I have here is, like, it's not on the list, it's just something that, like, kind of is a thing for me when I talk about this. If you want to shoot guns because it's fun, you want to own, AR-15s because it's fun, or a Vector K10 because it's fun, whatever. You want to own weapons because they're fun, because you like them, because it's your right, because it's yourself, you're defending yourself, whatever. Okay, if you're defending yourself, defend yourself with a handgun, a shotgun, or a hunting rifle. Not very hard. Handgun for your person, shotgun for the home, and a hunting rifle just in case you want to, just in case you need to, like, take at range, I guess, and like, shoot somebody who's walking down the street shooting people, maybe it's happening right outside your house, maybe somebody's threatening your home and you need to be able to shoot them from a distance. Okay, a hunting rifle, there you go. Not hard. Very not hard. That's completely all right. Whole constitutional thing, that covers the self-defense thing. That's exactly what that's for. And then, but the thing is, if you like guns, just say it. Stop acting like you have these legitimate reasons, because you don't have legitimate reasons for this. The only legitimate reasons I've laid out, and I've laid out why. And if you're not paying attention enough to understand why I just laid out logic and reason on self-defense and gun ownership in the Constitution, then you're not paying attention to begin with, okay? And I would suggest you restart the video and listen very carefully again. But for the upteenth time, let me say, just be honest. Just say, I like weapons. I want this because I like it. But you can't say that. Because the second you say that, people go, well, I don't care if you like it. What you like doesn't matter. People are getting hurt. We need to ban this. See, your argument falls apart, doesn't it? That's why they're dishonest. That's why they bring up all this other crap about criminals and protection from tyranny and blah, 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 blah. Whatever things they bring up, okay? And let me be honest here. I'm going to be honest for a second. I do not think it is necessary to own an assault rifle at all. Ever. Period. You don't need an AR-15. You don't need an AK-47. You want to shoot them for fun, that's fine. My buddy, I have a buddy that likes to go to the gun range, right? He's a right-winger. He's a gun nut more than I am. Not super gun nut, mind you, but he's got, an SKS, and he's got, some of the more interesting stuff, but he doesn't have any machine guns. And he went to the range area. He actually posted this video online of him at the range. He fired a 50 caliber Barrett sniper rifle. I'm not kidding. I watched it. It was cool. It looked amazing. And his fucking legs were hanging under the little stand that he was on. He was on one of those stands where he was sitting down, and his legs kind of went with the recoil. His body stayed still, but his legs felt the recoil and went, and it was funny because he looked so ready. This big gun just shoots off, right? But that's a military grade weapon. And the owner of that is definitely not going to look at that and go, I need this for defense. I need this. You're not going to fucking need that for defense. You're not going to say that because you look dumb to all the other gun nuts on the range. They're going to be like, oh, that's a cool gun. Yeah, cool gun, right? Yeah, I keep it locked up here at the range, or I keep it, in storage somewhere, and I break it out to go to the range with because I'm not going to use it for anything else. Duh. I mean, I've seen cool shit at gun ranges, right? I've been to a couple gun ranges. I've seen cool shit there. I've fired fun weapons. I've fired fucking lever action 30-30, That's a fun weapon. I like lever actions. Lever actions are a fun design. Kind of hard to work the action. It'll fucking hurt your fingers, but, that's just me. I have dainty hands anyway. But no, this is bullshit. This whole conversation of, it's because I'm not going to say it's a debate. I'm not going to say it's an argument. There's no argument here. It's rational people trying to get military grade weapons out of the hands of criminals, or at least make it harder for them to get them, against people that just like guns. That's it. If you want to say you just like guns, fine. You want to defend yourself with handguns, shotguns, and hunting rifles, fine. That's all good. That's good for you. Oh, and another thing before I end this, the whole protection of tyranny thing. How come Japan and Australia haven't started a police state on their guys yet? Why not? Why not France or or the UK? Why not anywhere else that bans guns? Japan has like a complete fucking ban on weapons. All you can have is a shotgun or an air rifle, and you have to register it and everything. Why haven't they tried to take over their people yet? Exactly. But yeah, this whole debate's stupid. The AR-15 and all the other assault rifles just need to be banned. We need stricter background checks. We need to just have we need to close the gun show loopholes and everything. Just get all that out of there. Just done. Can we not? All right, can we not anymore? It's just pretty fucking stupid at this point. Anyway, that is it for this video. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please share this video out if you feel the need to. But like I said, I'm not going to make anybody do anything. I don't like... If you genuinely found my rambling insightful and you think you should share this message, go ahead and share it out. But if you don't want to, if you don't like the video, then don't like the video. If you hate the video, dislike it. You know, that's feedback. It's negative feedback. It's feedback I don't like, but it's feedback none the same, you know? Or all the same. Nonetheless, I just combined two things there. I don't know. My brain's all over the place because of this. But that is it for this video. Leave a comment below. And yeah, let's hope the Parkland and Orlando and all that never happen again. Let's actually, no, let's not hope. Let's get legislation in to make sure they don't happen again. No more thoughts, no more prayers. It doesn't work. You know, if ifs and buts were candy nuts, then we'd all have a Merry Christmas, right? I don't know. Anyway, Reaper Rager, signing off.